Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're having a special event here in Philadelphia. It's the Meet the Candidates Night. When I became president of the Latino Caucus back in 2015, one of our initiatives was to educate, inform uh, the Latino community in the voting process. And another thing was to educate them as far as who the candidates are, because we just can't go into the voting booth without being prepared and knowing who to vote for. So we set up this forum here tonight. It's actually a fundraiser, but it's also a forum that way we could show you guys who the candidates are and let them speak about who they are, what they have done, and what are their goals in their position they want to run, whether it's state representative, whether it's lieutenant governor, or any other position, even a position like a committee person. You really have to be dedicated to these positions because it's going to change the dynamics. It's going to change your where you live. So you really have to be take it real serious and move forward. Uh, this evening, we're going to have lieutenant governors, candidates here. We also have some officials that being elected Latino. We have the first Latina, and Janet Diaz, the first Latina that was elected to City Council in Lancaster, plus much, much more. So I hope you guys, as we interview the candidates and we interview some Latinos public officials, you will enjoy this video. Thank you very much. My name is David Rodriguez. I am the chairman of the Latino Caucus of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. And I want to say thank you for everybody who has showed up here tonight. When I first became chairman of the caucus, one of the things that I wanted to do was educate our voters in the voting process. And one thing was to not only have Latino candidates, but also have candidates that represent our community, our issues, that understand us. And what I want to do is to give everybody, for this primary, a fair chance to speak. I know that some of you's got to leave. Some candidates got other events. There's a lot going on. So I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to speak and to address the voters and the constituents in this room. So first of all, I want to Kathy, can you come up?
Sure.
Kathy Cazone, Lieutenant Governor candidate.
Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk with everyone this evening. My name is Kathy Cazone. I'm a Chester County Commissioner, and I'm currently serving in my third term. So I'm in my 11th year this year. Despite being in the minority on the Board of Commissioners, I'm the vice chair of our board. I am also the first vice president of our state association, the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, and I'm vice chair of the Democratic Caucus for that organization. Prior to being elected, I'm an accountant by trade or profession. I had a senior management role in corporate accounting for a major publishing company in Pennsylvania. So I'm running for lieutenant governor because I've watched for the last 10 years as the majority in the legislature has decimated funding to counties for us to provide critical and in many cases mandated services for the most vulnerable people in our communities. So I decided that it was time the county government and local government had a voice in Harrisburg and a seat at the table. And I believe that I'm perfectly positioned, having served in the executive branch of government for the last 10 years to do that. You know, while the Republicans in the legislature are telling you they haven't raised taxes, the reality is that counties, just like school districts, have had to raise property taxes in order for us to even try to come close to accommodate for the missing funding. And the truth is that we end up serving a lot of those people in much more expensive ways. So I said earlier, I'm the vice chair of the board despite being in the minority, and that's because I earn the respect and the trust of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. So I know that I can be a partner with Governor Wolf to work across the aisle to make sure that we're advancing our democratic priorities, fighting for rights and equal opportunity for all Pennsylvanians. And finally, I believe that the role of lieutenant governor, or being a leader, is greater than the job description. So while the role of lieutenant governor statutorily has a few obligations, there's a real opportunity, an opportunity that is being missed right now. And that's the ability to shine light on the issues and the challenges that we face together as a Commonwealth, as well as bring people together to solve problems. I've done those things in my own community in Chester County, as well as through our statewide association in areas like criminal justice reform, workforce development, and environmental and community safety for pipeline infrastructure. So I know that I'll be able to hit the ground running on day one if I'm lucky enough to be your next Lieutenant Governor. So I'm here tonight to humbly ask for your support. I would love the opportunity to take some questions. Unfortunately, we're already late for another event. But literature is on the tables out there and some over here. And so if anybody has any questions, feel free to give us a call or send us an email and we'll be happy to get back to you. But David, thank you again for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much.
Before I introduce another candidate, I just did that because Kathy really has to go. She told me I have to go, David, and I want to, give her the opportunity to speak. I also want to bring to speak our chairman, but our chairman just went out the door. I also want to, our chairman's going to, 1 minute, okay. I also want to give an opportunity to speak. A person that's been supporting this caucus from the beginning, a person who's been a friend of the caucus, who has really been supportive behind us 100%. And actually there's 2 of them here, but I want to bring forward Mr. Angel Cruz.
Well, thank you for letting me participate and to be here tonight. Go out and spread the word. Angel Cruz for the 180th. Yay! Yay! Listen, at the end of the day, the bureaucracy and democracy gives you the opportunity to run for office, okay? For us to take it personally, we should not take that personally, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're still going to be your constituent whether you win or you lose of the person that succeeds. The only person that's going to decide that it's the actual voters. We have to make sure that we get people out to vote because there's so much at stake. And if we do not participate, someone else is going to make that decision for us. We've got committee people that are the ground soldiers for us. We have to get elected. We have the gubernatorial, we have lieutenant governor, we have legislators. We have people that are running for everything. We need to make sure that we educate our community on the branches of government and that we have an election every single year. We have a primary and a general, okay? And we need to go out there and participate. This time around will be the first time that I will be unopposed. I'm serving my 10th term, 20 years in the House of Representatives. And for those, the only advice that I have for those that seek public office and are not successful, do not give up. There's always tomorrow. Your name is out there. Continue doing what it is that you want to do. Self-determination is what it's called, okay? So you guys will determine when you had enough or when you're gonna continue, okay? It's time. If Latinos participate in the electoral process, if Latinos are registered to vote, okay, we'll have our fair chance. In the House of Representatives right now, it's just me and Emilio, 2 Latinos out of 203 members, okay? When if you look, there should be 6 to 7 Latinos in the House of Representatives, but we're allowing folks to make decisions for us because we do not vote. We don't hold no one accountable but ourselves. And I always, when people ask me, who do you blame? Word baby explains it all because it's if you spell it out, B-A-B-Y, blame anyone but yourself, okay? So you are responsible for your actions. If you don't participate and you don't urge or hold anybody accountable, it's your responsibility, no one else. You have no one else to blame but yourself. You know, when I first ran 20 years ago, I was told not to. I was too young, I was too loud, I was vulgar. I'm a little vulgar still, but you know, I'm a lot vulgar then. But I did it. I did it with everyone saying no. And if I would have listened, I would not be here today, okay? So we need to participate. And there's times that you know, there's a little turmoil because we have Latino against Latino, okay? But after the 15th, we all become Latinos and friends and neighbors, okay? So I wish luck to everyone that's running, okay? And everyone in the 180th that chose not to run against me, I thank them too. It's been a quiet election, and I say to myself, is there an election? Because you see me out there knocking on doors, doing something, getting involved in a lot of other stuff. Another thing that we need to, before I close, is state committee. We need more Latinos to run for state committee, to participate in the Latino Caucus, okay? Because we need to send a message, just like the governor of Puerto Rico is urging members of Puerto Rican descent in the state of Florida to register and participate. We should do it throughout the 50 states, okay? Because we have people in Congress that don't care about 3.4 million U.S. citizens that have gone through a travesty in Puerto Rico, okay? But we're not only talking about Puerto Rico, we're talking about the Virgin Islands, we're talking about territories that are part of the United States of America, and we have been given just crumbs, okay? But we're allowing that to happen, okay? Politics is the grease that makes the world spin, okay? So please, get involved. Let's get people involved. The youth. When I see people that are running against the youth, it upsets me. You know why? We had our chance. It's a new movement, and I'm not talking about the Millennium Movement. Where's my boy Anthony at? He's here? He's not here?
He just left.
And we've got to urge, we've got to participate, we have to demand. And if you don't like me, you're gonna learn how to tolerate me. That's the way this movement is all about. So David, thank you for your leadership. And all the other candidates, we need to form a base where we share ideas, okay, and help one another. At the end of the day, we're the enemy to everybody else out there because we're all Latinos, okay? But I be damned if we allow people to represent my community when you can't speak my language. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you, Representative Angel Cruz. I want to bring up somebody to speak. And this person, when I first sat down with him, we clicked like this, bam, 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 bam. And I said, wow, where were you 3 years ago? But we do have him now. He's my friend, my chairman, Jack Hanna.
Let me first state, make a comment acknowledging Representative Cruz's statement a moment ago about politics that I learned, and I think every ethnic community in the United States of America throughout its history has learned, and that is this: power is not given to you, you take it.
That's right.
And if you want to have a voice as far as politics in Pennsylvania is concerned, and in your community and throughout the country, you must work to take it upon yourself, which means you participate in the political process, you register to vote, you organize your community, and you nurture your leadership and run them for office so that you have self-determination and not have other people calling the shots for you. You call the shots for your own community. Number one. Number two, I want to speak for a few moments about our governor and what he has done for the community, which you understand much better than I, and I have these things that are written out, but I'm sure that you understand what and who he is about and what he has done, including reforming the criminal justice system, banning the box on non-civil service applications, allowing nonviolent ex-offenders to ask the court to seal their criminal records, appointing Latinos to serve in the highest levels of government, including Secretary of Education, Secretary of State, and the Governor's Deputy Chief of Staff, and, by the way, the Executive Director of State Committee, and reestablished the Governor's Advisory Commission on Latino Affairs, urging Congress to support DACA and Dreamers, and deploying members of the PA National Guard and PA Emergency Management Agency to help put Puerto Rico back on the map to recovery. There's many other things that he has done also for the interest of the Latino community. But as I was talking to David a few days ago about the issues that face the Latino community, and by the way, all communities throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that is this. At the end of the day, the most important things, aside from discrimination, is the fact that all people throughout the Commonwealth and families face the same concerns and problems with each other. Those include health care, those include economic development, those include environmental issues, those include having a government that represents the interests of their community. These are common problems that everyone faces, no matter what their ethnicity is concerned and derived from. So at the end of the day, we have much more in common than what we have as far as differences are concerned. Last but not least, I want to briefly address what my goals are during my brief term as chair of the party here in Pennsylvania. My specific goal, aside from the appropriate administrative duties that I have, is to nurture and develop a program that will be institutionalized regarding ethnic outreach. Today, our country is in the process of changing as far as its makeup is concerned. There are more people of color, of more ethnicities that are changing the profile of the electorate. And when we devote resources and attention to those communities as a Democratic Party to represent their interests, we are going to be successful with our responsibility of serving our constituents in the best and appropriate fashion possible. And I am working on having incorporated into what's called the Coordinated Campaign Plan, which is a plan that all the candidates will be endorsing and participating in as far as all the different campaign committees are concerned, and that includes the gubernatorial campaign of Wolf, the U.S. Senate campaign of Robert Casey, the State House, the State Senate, and the congressional campaigns, and along with Democratic Party interest groups such as Labor and others, to have a deliberately funded plan that will be incorporated into future plans through the state committee to support ethnic communities by providing them with the resources they need to organize their own communities. That includes education as to how to fundraise, how to slate candidates, how to campaign, how to register voters, how to deal with issues that face your particular community and communities in general, in addition to having data and information provided to you to help organize your communities by texting, by emailing, by describing what are the most effective campaign techniques in order to organize and get your vote out on election day. I pledge to you I will do my very best, and it's being well received thus far. Whatever I can do in the meantime before my term ends in the middle of June, I will do so. I'm going to hand out some cards to everyone who are interested in receiving them. To please contact me if you have any questions or concerns. We will do our best to provide you with answers and support going forward. I commend you for your efforts. Unifying, as Representative Cruz says, after the primary is critical for us to turn this country around and challenge and resist what the White House is attempting to do, which is, I suggest, destroy our communities, not support it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for receiving me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I continue, I want to introduce the board of the Latino Caucus. Can everybody on the board come up for a minute? The board of the Latino Caucus. First of all, I want to introduce everybody. My name is David Rodriguez. I am the chairman. I have Isaac Torres Figueroa, vice chair.
Buenas tardes.
Cesar Loriano, board member. We have a new board member, is Richie Rivera. We also have as a board member, and she was the first Latina ever to be elected to the City Council of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Ms. Janet Diaz. And we also have Lebanon's Councilman Cornell Wilson. And from York, Pennsylvania, board member Salome Johnson.
And Cesar Liriano will be the third Latino state rep this next year.
Cesar is also running for state representative. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Before we continue, I know there's other activities going on. I know a lot of candidates got to go, and they got to be somewhere else. I want to know who got to go, like, in the next 15 minutes. Okay, we also have State Representative Jason Dawkins. Come on down.
So thank you, David. I do have a 23rd Ward meeting I got to get to at 7:30. Otherwise, I would say because Eastland has some of the best food. For me, this is a re-election. I've been a member of the House since 2014. I represent parts of Mayfair, Frankfurt, Oxford Circle, Feltonville, and Alney. My district is very diverse. So it's a breakdown, roughly about 60% African American, about 25% Hispanic, and then we have the other portions of white and other. So for me, diversity is key. I have a lot of very diverse areas. I come from a background of diversity in the community in which I was raised in. It was never strange to have, a very diverse community. I used to work previously for Councilwoman Sanchez, where I had the opportunity to really work in this community and have an understanding of more of what the issues are in the Hispanic community and Latino communities. I was a member of LPI, which is the Latino Partnership Initiative. I actually was the president in 2010. I had an opportunity to go to the island and to spend a week learning about the economics and about the government and all the struggles, and kind of tie them back to the district and figure out ways of how we can improve our community. For me, it's simple. I'm running again for re-election because we have unfinished business. When I started out on this journey, I knew I had a mission. I wanted to be able to bring communities together, bridge those gaps that we knew needed to be bridged. But more importantly, I wanted to make sure that we put integrity back into the actual seat in terms of holding folks accountable and making sure that when candidates say they're going to do something, they do it and execute it. And we don't just work around election time. We work 365 because our communities matter. We've been able to secure really good funding for the district, but it does not go far enough. We still have an issue around gun violence, which is near and dear to me. I lost my oldest brother to gun violence, so this is an issue that means a lot to me. Today I had the opportunity to stand with the governor to talk about a new initiative of $1.5 million allocated to proven groups who want to deal with this epidemic that we have around gun violence. I also had the opportunity for the first bill in which I passed in the House was around a memorial bridge, where I was able to stand with my colleagues, Representative Cruz, who's here tonight, around dedicating a part of Castor Avenue as the Gary Skursky Bridge. Gary Skersey was an individual who gave his life, the ultimate sacrifice for the community. He was a community relations officer who ended up taking a call for a robbery in a local bar, and it cost him his life. So these are the reasons why I'm running. This is why I continue to run, because we have a lot of families still struggling. We still have to move this needle, and I'm glad that I have the support of my Latino community, and as we move this needle forward. So I'm not going to take up much more time. I know there's other folks who want to speak, but again, I want to thank everyone, and make sure, May 15th.
What community?
What? The Latino community. So May 15th, make sure you come out, bring a neighbor, bring a friend, bring a family member to the polls. We have to increase our voting turnout. The only way we're going to get anything done is we start to vote. Folks are not voting at the numbers we know we're capable of voting at, so we have to make sure that we do our part. So thank you very much.
I'm trying to get everybody to speak, so please, when you come up and speak, make it brief, get like a minute and a half at least, all right? Before I continue, I want to introduce somebody that been involved with me in the caucus, that have been traveling around the state and has been helping me with a lot of increasing the voter turnout, being wise to endorse, not only endorse, but to support good candidates around the state. Hazleton, we've been in Lancaster, Lebanon. I want to introduce State Representative Emilio Vasquez.
Well, good evening, everyone. Like my colleague Jason Dawkins said, on a real note is we have unfinished business in the 197. Actually, under my leadership in the first year, I had the pleasure to serve 17,362 constituents. 10,000 of those constituents, they were walking into the office on Fifth Street in my offices. So, well, I'm asking folks, encouraging folks, we want to keep on having that momentum. We have unfinished business, and I really would like the folks, if you guys are serious, as serious as I am, I ask everyone to send me back to Harrisburg to finish that unfinished business. My leader number is number 24. Thank you.
It was unfortunate tonight that Congressman Brendan Boyle could not make it, but he sent surrogate. So we have Kevin Boyle, his brother.
Hi there, everyone. I'm State Representative Kevin Boyle, and I have the honor to serve with two fine gentlemen, Emilio and Angel Cruz, in the PA House. I'm here today to represent my brother, U.S. Congressman Brendan Boyle. Unfortunately, he could not be here today because they're actually voting right now in the U.S. Congress. But Brendan wanted to be here, and he is no stranger to the Latino community. He really looks forward to now representing North Philadelphia. He had a district that included about the eastern half of Montgomery County and northeast Philadelphia and neighborhoods like Olney and Feltonville. Now the new congressional district includes all of North Philadelphia east of Broad Street, and in addition to the whole northeast and all the river wards. Brendan has been no stranger to the Latino community. He's been no stranger to the Puerto Rican community. He has been a leader on debt relief for the island of Puerto Rico. He has worked with Puerto Rican members of Congress like Congressman Gutierrez in Chicago and Congresswoman Velasquez from New York City. He's traveled to the island of Puerto Rico and met with the governor of Puerto Rico. He believes strongly that the island should be allowed to declare Chapter 9 and they should be able to restructure their debt. Future generations of Puerto Rican children should not have to suffer because of actions that happened in the past. And he's been not just a leader on debt relief, but he's been a strong proponent of an actual relief plan for the island of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico needs to be treated like any other part of the United States. And it's sad, it's tragic, and frankly I think it's bigoted, the way that the Puerto Rican people have been treated after this mass tragedy on the island in September. So he has called on President Trump, he's called on FEMA to treat Puerto Rico the way it should be treated. And they need to be treated with dignity and respect. And he has been a strong, aggressive opponent of President Trump. So often Latinos have been on the front lines of being attacked by this new president. The President Trump, during his campaign announcement, he took direct aim against Mexicans and called for the border wall and just really impugned the character of Mexican people during his campaign announcement, and nothing really has changed since then. So you can count on Brendan to be a forceful advocate for the Latino community, and I hope you give him your vote on next Tuesday. Thank you.
I also want to say, like Angel Cruz said, there should be more Latinos running for state committee, running to be state committee member. As of right now, we have on the ballot 11 statewide, 11 Latinos on the ballot that are running for to become state committee members. So I think comparing to the numbers what we had, they were way smaller, and now 11 is good. I wish next time it keeps increasing and we have better representation in the state committee. We want to go back to the lieutenant governor candidates. Please make it brief, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, the longest. I want to introduce the first Latino to run for lieutenant governor, Mr. Ray Sosa.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor. Thank you to my Latino people, the Latino Caucus. I truly wouldn't have the opportunity to do this if it wasn't for the support. Like David said, it is a historical moment for us. I'm very proud to say that I'm the very first Latino to ever be printed on the ballot for lieutenant governor. So it's an honor. When it comes to this position, I remind everybody that it is a job, just like anything else. So you have to match what the lieutenant governor does to what the position is and what your resume is. So I've been appointed by 3 governors already for positions that go from legislative affairs to emergency management. The example that I tell everybody is we had 2 blizzards. Who saw on TV any incumbents sharing their emergency management expertise? I know that we lost our power for 3 weeks, and I saw 7 overturned semis? No plan. So it tells you how important it is. I'm an expert in interagency cooperation. I'm an expert in emergency management. I'm an expert in coordination with the military because it matters. So I have 4 positions and I'll be brief. The first one, help for our prisoners. They need to have a balanced representation of minorities in the board. As the chair for the Pardons and Parole Board, you need diversity to make sure it's fair, to make sure it happens. Second, it is paramount that we educate our prisoners. Okay, the state should bear the burden of educating people that are paying their debt to society and post-prison opportunities. Second thing, steady, guaranteed funding for a school system. It's underfunded. Our teachers can't get back what they have to purchase themselves. I've been to about 22 schools now. The way those schools are, they don't even have earn management system. And we expect our kids, especially right now that it's hot, to learn. It's impossible. Third position, help for our farmers. I come from a family of farmers. They feel on the margins, okay? All states that have a thriving rural community, okay, have a balanced budget. We need to learn that. And very last position, help for a lower and middle class in the way of subsidies. The state should be the top employer for the state. Okay, and there's ways that we can do that very efficiently. Why am I the better qualified candidate? Because I come from a minority. I'm Puerto Rican by birth. We know what it is to struggle. I know what our minorities are going through. And I've been appointed by 3 governors in the position that the lieutenant governor can actually affect. So I've already done the job. So help me. Please vote for Sosa on May 15th, and thank you so much.
I also want to introduce one more person. We got more candidates. Please, I want to introduce Representative Nina Ahmed, her husband.
Thank you for having us, inviting Nina. She couldn't be here today. She's out in Bethlehem and trying to get her way back, but she'll be late, so I'm here to speak on her behalf. She's running for lieutenant governor to restore integrity and accountability in the government. She's also an immigrant, having grown up in Bangladesh. She came to Philadelphia at a young age and went through the University of Pennsylvania to earn a PhD in chemistry, went on to work in Wills Eye Hospital as a molecular biologist, and then committed into public service, and eventually the latest position was as deputy mayor for public engagement with the Kennedy administration. And as an immigrant, the issues of immigration are important to her. She joined the board of the Pennsylvania Immigration and Citizenship Coalition that help immigrants with all the issues they face. Marginalized communities are always left out in the margins, and she would bring the new voice to government if people elect her on May 15th to be the new lieutenant governor of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. As a scientist, she has seen the potential of commercial and new economy, that we need to move from the smokestack economy to the science and technology-based economy. Having that experience, she can bring and really champion that as a job creator so that people left behind with the old economy can embrace and be retooled, reskilled to join the science and technology-based economy. And as a woman, she has led the charge, being the president of the local chapter of the National Foundation for Women. In that position, she's the one that led the fight against the DA's office that was harboring some people from the AG's office who were there making decisions about rape cases when they were trading porn, the Porngate scandal that you talked about. Yes, we now know about Harvey Weinstein being a monster, but she was she came to that issue far longer before that, and she'll be an avid advocate of that. So, in short, I think if you elect Nina, you would have a voice at the table. She'll bring new voices, new ideas, and will be a champion for all of us, especially the marginalized community and the immigrant community, because she has lived that experience and she knows that at her heart. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Wow, these lieutenant governor candidates I think they're all great. They're good. It's getting better and better. I want to introduce you to another lieutenant governor candidate, Mayor John Fetterman.
Hey everybody, my name is John Fetterman, and I'm Mayor of Braddock, Pennsylvania. And I traveled 300 plus miles to be in your company tonight because that's how much I value this organization and this how much I value the vote. Before I talk about myself, I want to introduce my wife, Giselle. My wife, Giselle, was a former dreamer. Her mother brought her here to this country from Brazil, fleeing a dangerous and violent situation. And immigration and immigrant rights is in our campaign's DNA, I'm proud to say. We were the only campaign to visit the Burks Family Detention Center and to actively protest. And we just left a meeting a few hours ago with a young mother, Carmela, who's living in sanctuary in a local church with her 4 children, afraid to even leave because she's getting snatched up by ICE and deported. So from my perspective, as a small town mayor, we're running for lieutenant governor. We're pitching the progressive, but we're also pitching the pragmatic. The progressive is, as a mayor of a small town, we have the most progressive views on immigration, the most progressive views on marijuana legalization, the most progressive views on same-sex marriage, as I was the first and only state official to solemnize a same-sex wedding here in Pennsylvania when it was still illegal. Economic development, gun violence. We're the only campaign that has experience confronting successfully gun violence. We went 5.5 years without a loss of life in our community through violence. From a practical standpoint, we are the only campaign running a true statewide race. And I'm proud to say we've had endorsements for our campaign as diverse as Bernie Sanders, who held a rally for us here in Philadelphia this past Friday, up to and including the mayor of Pittsburgh, Bill Peduto, up to and including Ed Rendell, up to including counties all across Pennsylvania. So from my perspective, we are running a true grassroots race all across Pennsylvania, and immigration and that story is at the heart of that race. Would you like to say a few words?
Grateful to be here. y yo hablo un rato de español, entonces puede hablar conmigo en español si necesita traducción.
So thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. And I'm also proud to say that we picked up the endorsement from the Philadelphia Inquirer this past Sunday. So we're really running a comprehensive campaign all across Pennsylvania. I'm delighted to be in your presence. I actually have some literature printed in Spanish for anyone that might like to receive any. Thank you for having us here. It's been a real honor and privilege. Thank you very much.
Okay, I also want to bring up another candidate that he's running for state representative in the 101 in Lebanon. My friend Cesar Riano.
Thank you very much all for being here tonight. I'm one of the founder father of this group of the Latino Caucus together with Isamar and David, Cornell. And I'm really proud to be here with you tonight because the dream that we have at the beginning now is being come true. Like, it's the reality right now. And I would love to see this one growing. And thanks God, I think it's gonna keep growing because now we have candidates on many places for the state committee. Like David said, I'm running for a state rep for the 101st district, and I'm ready to become the third Latino in the House. I know that I think that I have to vote here tonight, Cornell and my friend back there, but I couldn't lose this opportunity to be here and share with you what is our vision for our state. We are working really hard to be elected. It's not a really easy battle, but we are ready for it. We are ready to fight. We are ready to win. For this year, we're gonna need a lot of help for this campaign. We're gonna need volunteers. We're gonna need people helping with funds because you know that it's an expensive campaign, and maybe you cannot vote for me, but you can help in another way. Tonight we hear about other state reps like Angel Cruz talking about how we should be united, and that is totally true. We have to go ready and do whatever we have to do in the primary, but as soon as the primary is done, we have to come together and do what a good Democrat do. Help to elect Governor Wolf, Casey, and all the other candidates who are behind there. Thank you very much for being here, and enjoy the night. Thank you.
Okay, I know everybody wants to eat, so I want to introduce another. There's still more. I think there's still two more candidates. I want to let them speak, then we can eat. I also want to introduce candidate for the 197, Danilo Burgos.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here this evening. David, thank you. The Pennsylvania Latino Caucus, thank you for having this event for us this evening. Danilo Burgos, first generation Dominican American, running for the 197th Legislative District. Came up through the family business of bodegas and have been here in Philadelphia for well over 20 years and lived in the Honey Park section of the city for 15 years. I look forward to being able to represent our community, being one of 203 state legislators where we'll be able to work on the laws that will dictate on how our community will be serviced at the state level. Education is a very important part in our district. Our constituents our students walk the longest directions to go to school. We've had the most schools closed in our district through the years, not because of one in particular cause other than closing of public schools. Thank you for having us this evening and look forward to working for everyone.
Thank you, Danilo. We have a surrogate here. There's a young man that's running in the 127 legislative district in Reading. And Manny Morales, he couldn't make it, but surrogate Isamar Torres-Figueroa is here representing.
Thank you, David. So I'm here on behalf of Manny Guzman. He could not be here tonight because his race for the State House 127th District is probably going to be the most contested out of this region of the state. And what I mean by that is that the incumbent, Thomas Caltadrone, has been in that seat for going on 44 years. And Reading yet does not go forward, economically, educationally, in all other aspects. So here we have an opportunity, myself, my family, the caucus, to be able to support a Latino candidate, Manny Guzman, who is born and raised in the city of Reading. He's bilingual, he's educated through the system, and he knows the issues. And he's a former elected official. He ran for the school board of directors of the Reading School District. He won. He ran for city council, but unfortunately because of residency issues, he could not take the seat. But he has the capability of being a great elected official, but more importantly, a public servant, which we have been lacking for a very long time now. This incumbent has $120,000 at his disposal compared to our $11,000. So as Angel Cruz said earlier, building unity is important, but also educating people on the facts and the issues. What tends to happen in a lot of undereducated, underrepresented communities is facts are not being pushed forward. A lot of rumors, a lot of lies, unfortunately, is what we've experienced. And what happens is that disenfranchises the voter. So the goal is that we get the facts out there. We make sure that we get the necessary change, because at the end of the day, Reading has the highest percentage of Latino residents in the entire state of Pennsylvania, yet we do not have one Latino representing us in Harrisburg. So the time is now to make that change. And as Representative Cruz said, not only about unity, but it's the responsibility of the voter. If they really want change, they will come out. And I think we're making it based on what we're hearing door to door. Manny is bringing a breath fresh of air. Why? Because that incumbent tried to lie to our constituents. And how did he do that? He and two other state representatives were accused of sexual harassment in 2015. And what happened was that instead of bringing this to light, they went ahead, the ethics committee went ahead and made the decision, along with the accused state representatives, to push this under the rug and pay out the accuser. $248,000 of taxpayer dollars paid. And again, we're seeing this type of egregious behavior from our elected officials, not only across the state of Pennsylvania, but across the nation. Enough is enough. The time is now. We have to make a difference come May 15th. And if that message does not resonate with you, do not complain with the results that night at 8 p.m. on May 15th. So for the folks in Reading, I hope that you take this message, you take it seriously, and you go out and you affect change by voting for Manny Guzman for the 127th district.
I want to make that correction. It is Manny Guzman. It's not the other Manny. We don't want to. Please, if Manny Guzman was here, he'll kill me. I think we're done. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? Any candidates? Did I miss anybody? Okay, so you know what? Enjoy your night. Candidates, you can feel free to stay around, mingle, and time to eat. Have some food. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I'm State Representative Emilio Vasquez. I'm asking everyone that on May 15th, 2018, I'm position ballot 24. I want to continue doing the good work. I've did my caseload from April to April. I've serviced 17,600, almost 18,000 constituents in a year. I brought $4.8 million into our district, and I have 10 more to come to our district, and I would like to continue to do the hard work, working for the hard-working citizens of this district. So on May 15th, I will urge everyone to please push Lever 24 for Emilio to continue giving back to his community that he's been a long citizen for this district. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, I'm Sharif Street. I'm State Senator for the 3rd District, and I'm here to support the Latino Caucus of the Democratic Party. Okay? Me llamo Sharif Street, yo senador para el Distrito 3. Es importante que toda la gente vota para los democráticas.
Hi, my name is Isamac Torres Figueroa. I'm the Vice Chair for the Pennsylvania Democratic Latino Caucus, and this evening at our fundraiser here at Isla Verde Cafe in Philadelphia, I'm serving as a surrogate for a candidate who is running for the State House of Representatives, District 127, which covers the areas of Reading, Pennsylvania, and Kenhurst, Pennsylvania. His name is Manuel Manny Guzman. Manuel Manny Guzman is someone that my family and I have supported for a couple years now. And the reason we're supporting him are on the key issues that are going to really impact our community. The first is regarding education. Manny served on the local school board of directors for the Reading School District. And during his term, he had talked about the inequities as it relates to school funding. So one of his issues would be to advocate for equitable school funding. The other issue he felt that was very critical was the prison pipeline, meaning that our children, specifically within urban communities that are not afforded the appropriate education, are at higher risk to go into the prison system. So how he's going to address it is through the educational system, and as well as other resources that are necessary within our community. And the third one is within the women's rights. One of the things that Manny has really talked about is also equality in the workplace as it relates to wages, and a right for women's right to choose. So these are things that are important to Manuel Guzman and are important to our constituents. And it is my hope that Manny will be able to get that message across to the voters of Reading and Kenhurst and be able to be the effective and the winner come May 15, 2015, primary election day. So it's my hope that you, for those who live in those areas, will consider Manuel Manny Guzman for the State House of Representatives 127th District, your choice, your candidate. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Danilo Burgos. I am candidate for the 197th Legislative District. My button number is number 25. Hopefully you can come out and support us May 15th, the Democratic primary here in Philadelphia. I live in the Hunting Park section of the city. Our district is one of the poorest districts in the city, and I look forward to improving by working with other organizations and other organizations throughout the state that will be able to bring in more benefits for our community. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you, Pennsylvania Latino Coalition, for holding this great event.
Hi, my name is Janet. I'm Lancaster City Councilwoman, and today I'm here at the forum with different politicians that are actually running, and it's very important for you to come out and support them. It's very important for you to go out and vote. If you want to make changes and if you want the policies to make sure that they get passed, then you need to come out and support them. Whether it's financially, making sure you're there to ask questions, and making sure you choose the right person that's going to go to the House or to the governor's office or to the state lieutenant. So come out, join us, and make sure that you get out there on May 15 and vote. Thank you again.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for all attending here today at this candidates forum. It's greatly important that people come out to vote on Tuesday, May 15th. Why? Because you have candidates that are running for state office, lieutenant governor, and the governor. But most importantly, committee people that helps you in your neighborhood. If you don't come out and exercise your right to vote, someone else is going to make that decision for you. So we're asking to make sure, no matter who is that you're going to vote for, you need to come out to participate in this electoral process. It's very important. May 15, please come out to vote for all your statewide candidates, but most importantly, the committee people that represent your community. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Kathy Cazone, Chester County Commissioner and candidate for Lieutenant Governor. I'm running for Lieutenant Governor because for the last 10 years as a Chester County Commissioner, I've watched as the legislature has decimated funding to counties for us to provide critical services to the most vulnerable people in our communities. And so while the Republicans are telling you that they haven't raised taxes, the reality is the counties, just like schools, have had to raise property taxes to try to even make up for the funding that we're not getting for mandated services. I serve as the vice chair of the Board of Commissioners despite being in the minority, and that's because I earn the trust and the respect of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. So I know that I can be a partner for Governor Wolf to work with him, to work across the aisle to make sure that we're advancing his priorities, our democratic principles, fighting for rights and equal opportunity for all Pennsylvanians. I also believe that being a leader is greater than the job description, and there's a real opportunity for the Lieutenant Governor to be able to shine light on the issues and the challenges that face us in Pennsylvania, as well as bring people together to solve those problems. I've done that as a Chester County Commissioner for the last decade in the areas of criminal justice reform, workforce development, and the safety of pipeline infrastructure. So I humbly ask for your support, and you can find me at #1 on the ballot on May 15th in the primary in Pennsylvania. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is State Representative Kevin Boyle. I'm here on behalf of my brother, U.S. Congressman Brendan Boyle, for this event tonight. Unfortunately, Congressman Boyle can't be here this evening because he's voting in Washington, D.C., in the Capitol, but I'm here to say a few words directly to the Latino community. And Brendan has been no stranger to the Latino community in Philadelphia. He's been a strong advocate for hurricane relief on the island of Puerto Rico. He's been very critical of President Trump's hateful remarks in the immediate aftermath of the hurricane, and also of the inadequate response of the federal government. Before the hurricane, Brendan was a strong proponent of debt relief for the island of Puerto Rico. Specifically, he believes that the island should be allowed to have many of the powers that states have in the mainland United States to try to get away from their debt burden. And furthermore, Brendan has been a strong critic of President Donald Trump and his very often hateful remarks to Latinos. Even in his campaign announcement, President Trump made so many racist and xenophobic remarks about Mexicans, and it's a shameful time in American history. And Brendan has not been reticent or shy from being critical of this president. Hi, I'm State Representative Kevin Boyle. I'm here on behalf of my brother, U.S. Congressman Brendan Boyle. He's running for re-election in the newly formed 2nd Congressional District on Tuesday, May 15th. And on the ballot, he is number 9.
Hello, hola. My name is Asan Nasratullah. My wife, Nina Ahmed, is running for Lieutenant Governor for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. She could not be here right now because she is at another location, but I wanted to be here on her behalf to introduce her, to tell a little bit about who she is, why she's running. She is running to restore integrity and accountability in government. She's also running to create access for people, especially marginalized immigrant communities who don't have voice in government. She was born in Bangladesh, came at a young age to Philadelphia. She grew up, went to school, earned her PhD in chemistry, went on to become the director of molecular biology at Wills Eye Hospital, and then joined the Commission for President Obama for Asian Affairs to advise and understand immigrant issues and advise the president. Then she moved on to become the president of the local chapter of National Organization for Women, standing up for women's issues, and then went on to be the deputy mayor, most recently, for public engagement for the city of Philadelphia in the Kenney administration. And she did that for 2 years, resigned on November 30 to launch her political campaign, initially in the 1st Congressional District, which was then redistricted out, and then took her progressive ideas and voices to the lieutenant governor's race. So she talks about herself as a scientist, as a woman, and as an immigrant. As an immigrant, issues that affect mass deportation, issues that affect access to services and resources are very important to her, because she has lived that experience and she wants to bring that to the state government at the highest level to bring voice there. She was on the board and one of the early members of Pennsylvania Immigration and Citizenship Coalition. It's called PIC, and that helped with advisory and as well as advocacy services for people who were facing deportation. She also has been a big advocate within the Kenney administration to bring all the voices together to make sure that language access was an important part of city administration. Then as a woman, she also introduces herself as a champion of women's cause. We now hear about Harvey Weinstein as a monster for sexual harassment, but it's been going on forever. Women are 50% of the global population, and they're not equally represented. And she stood up against that and took the fight to the DA's office in Philadelphia as the president of the local chapter of NOW, building coalition with the city council, women leaders, as well as the state. And then she also talks to herself as an immigrant. As an immigrant, as a lived experience, there's no better way to understand what leaves communities in the margins, and she wants to bring it all together. So on May 15th, please elect my wife, who's a champion, and she's somebody who you want in your corner to bring new voices to the highest office in the state that has never elected a person of color and an immigrant to that office, and a woman. Thank you. I appreciate your support.